probably already know that you spend most of your day distracted. Even when my best efforts are put in place, I'm still prone to distractions. And distractions can come about as a result of a number of different reasons. It might be a person, like your kids or your spouse, who interrupts you when you're trying to write. It might be your own brain trying to remind you of other things you need to do while you're in the midst of the writing process. Or it could be the easiest type of distractions to disconnect from. And those are distractions from social media, your phone, and your email. A distraction-free writing environment is really important if you want to write faster, and it makes a world of difference. Most people don't realize how much they get distracted. There are plenty of different studies out there about how often people in the workplace or even in their personal lives are constantly distracted. And there's a serious toll associated with getting distracted. It can take you a long time to get back on track after your focus has been pulled away. This time period can be 20 to 30 minutes. So when you're constantly looking at that new notification that dropped in on your phone, you're actually spending much more than just the 30 seconds it took to look at that notification. It's all the time afterwards when you have to go back to the task and get your brain reoriented to go back to doing what it was supposed to be doing during this time. Most people live in a world of ignorance, or ignorance is bliss, because they don't realize how much they're getting distracted. I used to consider myself somebody who was really focused and the queen of productivity and all of that, until I realized how much of my day was being spent on distraction-based activities. And now I make a conscious effort to cut those out as much as possible. A new ping from your phone or anything can really be a distraction. So be open to seeing how distractions come to you. Some may be more common than others. It might be that constant pull to check Facebook, or it could just be that you're in the middle of writing and remember something you need to add to your grocery list. What I'd like to tell you about this is that it's asking your brain to change lanes, which is really, really hard, especially when you're writing. Writing is a really focused concentration task, and when you ask your brain to constantly flip back and forth between writing or reading or editing or answering somebody via text message, you're asking your brain to do different activities, and because of that, it's very mentally taxing. Have you ever sat down to do something for an hour and then been interrupted a bunch of times, and at the end of the hour, you're just more aggravated than you were when you started, and you feel like you didn't get as much done as you had hoped to? It's because you were asking your brain to change lanes a lot. You weren't staying focused on that one singular task of writing, and now you feel tired, or you might even have a headache because you're asking your brain to change lanes. This concept is really important to understand because there are parts of the writing process that many people do together but are actually asking your brain to change lanes. One great example is writing and editing. Those are two different tasks, and we're asking our brain to be in two different places when we're doing it. So editing yourself while you're writing is a really bad habit to get into because it slows you down a lot and also makes you feel more tired. The goal should be to feel as light and as easy as possible while you're writing. We'll worry about the job of editing and coming back with a critical eye after the fact. But likewise, all these other activities that pull your attention away are also asking your brain to change lanes and think about something else. And every time it's harder to get back into that focused state and you feel frazzled while you're doing it. So I'm going to encourage you to try to focus on staying in one lane, and that is writing, as much as you can. Now, there are other lanes you'll need to be involved in the writing process, like research and editing, but we're going to do those at different times thanks to something I like to call batching, which I'm going to cover later in this course. But it's essentially asking your brain to focus on only one activity at a time, the editing process, or the researching process, or the writing process. And by grouping those activities together, you're going to get a lot more juice out of the writing time you spend.